I think that's the key ingredient to when you reboot a franchise, or and the fans will go along with you on the ride. Is if they feel like ultimately this feels like the Doom I know, or the brand that I know. Back with Doom 2016, many of the characters and the places you go and the things you see, we're just diving deeper into the edges of pushing out further into the Doom universe. And we started that in Doom 2016. Some of the characters that you meet, characters like the Father, the Dark Lord, these are all characters that were referenced both in Eternal and in some cases all the way back to Doom 2016. And the Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2 is the conclusion of the story arc that began in Doom 2016. There are still more stories to tell inside the Doom universe, for sure, but this just wraps up this arc.
It's an extension of Doom Eternal, as Hugo just said. Doom Eternal and going all the way back to 2016 really started to explore what the Doom universe was all about and introduced a ton of new characters. And this pushes further into that. I think what's really special about this is the places you go and the things you'll fight, the combat. As with all Doom games, this just this is first and foremost about combat and engaging players in just some of the best first-person gameplay out there, and doing it in locations that are just awe-inspiring. I think our team has really, even beyond what we did in Doom Eternal, pushed the envelope. So I really think that kind of combination of really some of the best first-person shooter combat mixed with just unbelievable worlds and a really compelling story.
DLCs they're offered at a certain price point. They're smaller in size, so the scope of the story to wrap up, what started in Doom 2016, we felt like was something that needed to be told over the course of 2 episodes. But as Marty has said, it is not a case of taking one thing and breaking it in half. Again, it's these are meaty DLCs.
Doom Eternal was kind of this 9-10 level, 3 major act structure, and Ancient Gods Part 1 is 3 levels, includes one kind of major boss fight and kind of an environmental boss fight, but 3 distinct big levels, just like you would play kind of 3 levels in Doom Eternal. So I think calling it like roughly a third of Doom Eternal is relatively accurate. The whole goal, as we've said before, is to really expand the Doom universe, and push it in new ways. And I think we've done that, with everything from 2016 to Eternal to what we're doing with these DLCs. So like it's massive at this point. It's I mean, it's our crown jewels, so to speak. I mean, it really is. We've spent every day, every minute thinking about, working on, and iterating on what Doom is over the last, 8 years now, 7-8 years, when you go back to how the development started. So it's ingrained in everything we do, and as Hugo said many times, I mean, there's many, many, many more stories to tell in this universe. I think that's the fun thing about it. But it's it's been the focus of us for the last half a decade, more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, which are all part of the kind of the same story arc, is just you could say a reboot, a reimagining of the franchise, but very much a loyal reboot. Staying true to the roots of what made those early games so special. We do get a chance. We had an opportunity with Doom 2016 to stand back, look at the brand, not just the games, but also the comics, the kind of the mythology that had built up around Doom, how people felt about Doom. I think the biggest thing that you need to do when rebooting something is focus on the feelings. Like as a designer of anything, you're really just looking for that emotional response. And people have and had a certain emotional response to the Doom brand back in 2012 when the reboot here started, 2013 started development on Doom 2016. And I think when we focus on the feelings and then try to create a product that elicits those same kinds of emotional response, the fans at its core, they'll say it feels like Doom, even though the guns, the graphics, the story, it might evolve. The spirit of the game, the feel, how I feel about this franchise feels the same. I think that's the key ingredient to when you reboot a franchise, or and the fans will go along with you on the ride. Is if they feel like ultimately this feels like the Doom I know, or the brand that I know. You do have to evolve, obviously. Like, you need to bring Doom into the modern age. You need to Doom in 1993 pushed boundaries all over the place. I mean, it was wonderfully designed. It had incredible, groundbreaking graphics. It stood out in the marketplace. We still need to do that, so as much as we would, it would be a fun thing to just make high-end 3D versions of the original Doom game. That wouldn't be necessarily pushing forward, and I don't think that would be true to the brand. I mean, if you're going to make a Doom game, and to be honest, if you're going to make an id game, you really need to be pushing the boundaries of stuff. I know our tech team is proud of that. Our this is what our founding fathers at id Software did. So if we're going to be good id employees and carry on that tradition, we have to do the same, which means we have to innovate, and push things. And I mean, we're going to continue to do that. I mean, yeah, as it evolves, if we make more Doom content, it will evolve again. It needs to, just as those id games push things forward when they came out.
We don't make games that just feel cookie cutter. We don't make games that feel like they're just an iteration, aren't pushing the boundaries from what we've done in the past. And we don't have people that want to do that. So as much as that is oftentimes creates challenges, because you're always pushing outside of comfort zones. It's what keeps people at id for a decade or 2 decades in my case. You can't retain people that are as creative and as talented as we have in our studio if we didn't have that mentality of pushing boundaries and really innovating with everything we do. So we are a relatively small team, and we focus very, very highly on whatever it is we're working on. We have some great IP and some great brands like Wolfenstein and like Rage. To have those just sit on a shelf is not ideal. And because there's a lot of fans of those games. They're really really cool brands, really cool universes on their own. So Machine Games has done an incredible job with Wolfenstein over the years. Now, to a certain extent, it's about team size and focus. I think that really keeps us like wrapped around one game internally, and then as we see opportunities to work with other teams that are equally passionate and talented, and really can bring something new to those other brands, we will. And I'd love to see us continue to do that kind of thing into the future as well, because I love the focus. I love the focus that we have internally. It really it's part of our identity, and part of the quality that we get to with the games we make.